Right, and there you have the city of Johannesburg. That's the M1 north-south coming into the double-decker section, as well as the M2 west. Yeah, so coming into the double-decker section, and it's still flowing at this time, but good to see the weather clearing up, so hopefully that will help the traffic as well.
I was not going to interrupt your traffic report. I love it. I love it.
I started at the traffic desk.
Me too. That's why I was very impressed with your traffic skills. You still got them. Hey?
Yeah,
you still got them. Okay. Let's get into our question of the day. Our regular features is what we're at now. So we're talking question and we're talking trending topics. So as much as the traffic may be flowing on the M1, the traffic is not flowing at Durban Port. That much I can promise you. What do you make of the backlog at the Durban Port, which has disrupted several ships due to bring in goods for the festive season? I mean, I've seen photographs doing the rounds. I mean, I know over the weekend I was just having a look at some social media, and there was this picture. Somebody filmed a video from the port all the way across the coastline. You just saw a massive queue of these ships waiting to come in and offload whatever they've got at the port, and it's just not moving. It's quite frightening. So not going to be a good time, and certainly these are goods that they're saying are for the festive season. So yeah, all right.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts. Would love to also hear from business people, how much disruption this has caused from entrepreneurs, whoever is expecting stuff to come into the country via the Port of Durban. I'd love to hear, what that backlog has been like and how it's impacted your business. So please let us know. But also, as you can imagine, this has obviously impacted on the cost of certain goods, because stuff that needed to come in urgently has now had to be flown in. And the aviation costs, of course, a lot more significant than the shipping costs.
Without a doubt. All right, so at Morning Live SABC, that's where you get hold of us on X, Facebook, Morning Live SABC, and there's that number that you can send voice notes to, 078 459 1897.
Right, looking forward to that. All right, let's go on to those trending topics now. And here they are. First up, hashtag Rand. And this is that Rand manipulation story. Some of the banks, at least 2 of 28 banks, have now basically conceded that they were part of the manipulation of our currency. Citibank and then more recently Standard Chartered agreed. But then, of course, the other 26, I think, are still trying to fight this particular matter. But people not happy looking at the cost of that, what it cost the country when that manipulation happened, and of course what happened subsequent to that. But I see some of the netizens on X also pulling in the Reserve Bank, saying that it is your purpose for existence. You need to protect the currency.
Indeed.
So what have you done, in order to address this very serious issue?
Yeah, and it is a very serious issue. I mean, manipulating the currency of a country, and you're not held accountable for this, and people are just feeling that this is not being spoken about enough, it's not being highlighted enough, and people are speaking out about it. So it really is something quite big, and I think that perhaps we need to also
pick up on it.
I think we do. I really do, because you cannot get away with something like that and not be held accountable. And these guys are making a lot of money off of this. And, just going back to what we see happening at ports, I mean, the normal business person trying, you get affected by all of this kind of thing. So the manipulation of a currency is a very big crime, and I think that people should be held accountable, or the institutions responsible for it at least pay that fine and get something out of it. But that's a big one. It's still a very big talking topic, and I must say,
paying the fine isn't enough, because that is like a little slap on the wrist.
That's what I'm saying. It's like a slap on the wrist.
Given what these banks
something
are worth, given what they make, 42 million in the broader scheme of things, nothing to them.
Nothing.
So there needs to be sterner action, I would say.
All right, let's move on to the next one, and that's coloured. And I really would love you to talk on this one.
Why would you want me to talk about it?
I don't know.
Because this is something, and I'll tell you what, this is a trend that has been going on for a while.
Okay.
It's between South Africans and North Americans with regard to the term colored. So Taylor, and she's doing fabulous things. She's top of the charts, and she, of course, identifies as colored, South African girl. And obviously doing some interviews in the United States, she referred to herself because she identifies as colored. And of course, given the context of what colored is seen as in the United States, it's a derogatory term over there. So that, of course, caused a lot of consternation. That spilled over onto the social media platforms. And this storm has been raging for weeks, if not months. But now it seems to have taken on a new dimension, because I think of Tyler's stardom and her star being on the rise. So again, colored as a South African term. Go read the book by Tessa Dooms and Lindsay Tuchel. It talks about how classification became culture. And it explains quite nicely what colored is about.
Okay, and that's why I want you
Among
to just
other
speak
things.
about it. There we go. That's the trend, and that's what's been going on. Malema, let me take this one for you. So this is where this all happened yesterday, where Julius Malema and EFF MPs, as well as the lawyer of the EFF, walked out of a parliamentary hearing. So it was the legal counsel lawyer Tembeka Nukatobi. It walked out of that parliamentary hearing on Monday after their appeal for a postponement was rejected, and party members basically in hot water after storming the stage. You remember that one at the State of the Nation address earlier in the year while the president was speaking. And this, of course, was the time for the hearing. MPs are Julius Malema, EFF Deputy, Floyd Shavambu, the Secretary General, Marshal Dlamini, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, Vuyani Pambo, and the spokesperson Sinao Tambo. And the charges included threatening Ramaphosa. But then, of course, they all just fell apart. Malema gave a very scathing talk to the DA and the lawyer that they were using. And Malema was unhappy when the committee rejected the application, saying no white man will persecute the EFF. So, yeah, it was a big day yesterday, and the EFF also trending alongside this.
Yeah, and finally, Ben 10. This is after one of those parody accounts, Barry Rue accounts, basically came out and said that when the Minister of Transport, Sindisiwe Chikunga, was robbed, remember that robbery on the N3?
Yes.
He's basically now come out to say when that robbery took place, she was actually, going to see or was with her Ben 10. And talking about that and the fact that they had about 150,000 Rand in cash on them and all those sorts of things. And that, of course, got the Twitterati talk.
Yeah, it's still trending. So Ben 10, that's the reason why it is trending.